Hi guys. Welcome back to another random live because it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday evening. I had a shitty day. So I decided rather than trying to wallow in whatever it is I'm feeling, I'm going to hop on here, see if anyone wants to hang out for a little bit, chat about books or writing or just hang, and that's fine. And yeah, we'll see if anyone joins us in the next few minutes because as of right now, I am just talking to myself, which is okay. But it's May 6th, which means that we are in a new month, which I cannot believe because it means that we are a month closer to my book coming out, which is wild to me that that's a thing. I cannot believe it's less than a month out, but I also had a really good writing month. So I didn't end up reading a whole lot, but I did have one book for the month of April. I think did I read one or two books for April? It was not a busy reading month. It really was not a busy reading month. But I read Emily Henry's new book, Great Big Beautiful Life, which I'm going to be doing a live for that with Yolanda from StoryTube and Evie from She Was Always Evie, because we have our Emily Henry book club, which is always fun. But yeah, that's kind of what I read in the month of April. But the big thing for me, like I said, was writing. I managed to finish the first draft of my second book. Hello, Evie. That was you. That was you. And it is you. So I'm very excited for us to have our conversation in a couple of weeks. Because we love Emily Henry. We have lots of things to say about Emily Henry and the Emily Henry Book Club. I said this to Evie after Great Big Beautiful Life came out, that it's almost a tragedy when you find an author that you love at the beginning of their career. Even though it's really awesome to be excited for new releases and upcoming books, because I like to get excited about that type of stuff. But simultaneously, when you love them and you connect with their writing and their work so much, you want there to just be a backlog of books that you can dive into. And Emily Henry has a couple of YA novels that I haven't read. So eventually I'm going to have to read them. Evie and I were talking about the fact that we're going to have to read them. But I have read all of her contemporary fiction or women's fiction and, contemporary romance multiple times. Hello. Hi, T. And hello, Matt. So it's, I want to have more Emily Henry books. Like, I feel like most people want more Emily Henry books. Evie said, so that you're aware, I'm officially a romance reader now. I read and enjoyed Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I thought you might like those. I also suggested Elsie Silver to you. So I'll be curious if you like Elsie Silver. I've read a few books by Lila Sage. I read them in December or January, and I ended up really enjoying them. No audiobooks, so I went to see what was happening on YouTube. Nice to find a live to watch. Thanks. If anyone was here as I was rambling into the void by myself, I had a crappy day. So I figured this is the perfect opportunity to try to perk up and have a happier day, happier end to the day. But there's some good books coming out in this month in May. I believe the new GGK book is coming out this month, which I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. I think it has The Dark in the title. I can picture the cover. It's blue. There's the bridge with the guy on the horse going over it. It's very it's not quintessential GGK cover that I want. Like, I really love the classic fantasy covers that we get for GGK. Written on the Dark, that's what it is exactly. Like up here, I've got The Lions of Alrasan, and then next to it, I've got A Song for Arbonne, which is this like really classical fantasy looking cover that I got on eBay, I think for like $7. Because apparently the spot to find GGK books in hardcover is on eBay. Like, I cannot recommend eBay enough for that. Lions was a bit more expensive because it seems to be harder to find. But yeah, I want that like quintessential classic fantasy cover for GGK. And The Devils is coming out this month by Joe Abercrombie. I don't know if it was just my algorithm feeding this to me today, or I haven't been on YouTube in a little while, but every new Joe Abercrombie interview, which he is obviously talking about the Devils, came onto my feed today. So that was exciting. I saw one channel that I can't remember who it was, but there was like 4 people talking to him. And then I saw another with Patrick Liu. Is Patrick? Is that his last name? Am I conflating it because I was just listening to something about Ken Liu? Can someone please tell me if that's Patrick's last name? But Patrick did a video with Joe Abercrombie that I'm definitely going to watch. For the Devils, Leo, that's what it is. Thank you, Patrick Leo. It's out today for the Devils, so that's exciting. Because I believe Stephen Pacey is doing the audiobook for this as well. And I just started last month. I very, very early stages started re-listening to The Blade itself. And I am reminded how much I love Stephen Pacey because I think he is probably my favorite audiobook narrator. He's just so good. It's hard to go wrong with Stephen Pacey, especially when you get to those first Glocta chapters and you hear what the internal monologue sounds like versus the external voice. There's a few characters like that in the First Law universe that he just does so well. But yeah, I am excited for the Devils, but I don't know, like I just haven't had that urgency to read. And I don't know if it's because I've been in a much more productive writing mode. Like I said, I finished the first draft on Tides of Memory just a couple days ago, which I think ended up coming out to about 123-ish thousand words, but it's going to probably end up jumping up significantly as I go through it. I've learned about myself as a writer that first drafts really tend to be more world-based and dialogue, and then I go in and I add the relationships and that interpersonal connectedness in the later drafts, and really try to make sure that the plot holes are satisfying and that like they're being met and they're not just left there dangling. Certain things are of course meant to be dangling from book to book, but overall you want to make sure that you're not leaving people just high and dry. So that'll be the next few months, I think, in regards to working, but trying to also just get everything organized and in the final stages for publication day because we are less than a month out. I have been listening to the audiobook as it's been coming to me, and that's been really an exciting and different experience. So that's been really cool. But what have you all been reading and enjoying, if you have been reading anything? And if you've also been in a reading slump, what would you recommend to get someone out of a reading slump? Right now, I have been in a mood for more classical fantasy, I feel like, but I don't know which classical fantasy that necessarily is, because like when you say that to people, a lot of the time they might come back at you and be like, oh, read Wheel of Time and things like that. And I'm not quite in that mood. But I am in a mood for something that's going to grip me. But I am in a very emotionally vulnerable state. So I don't know if I can deal with something too upsetting or dramatic like Robin Hobb, even though I've been really tempted to pick up Hobb lately. And I don't know if it's because of when I started my YouTube journey, there were certain authors that are in everyone's pantheon, I feel like. And Hobb, I think, is the last one that I haven't tried for the bulk of people. Jenny Wirtz, I would also say, is on that list because I feel like she's kind of had this really great resurgence in the last year or so with a lot of people on BookTube. And I think that that's been really great. So Emma Lyon is great for a slump. Tell me which book I should go with, Matt. Battling My Focus Issues and Trying to Get Through Authority by Jeff Vandermeer. I've never read anything by Jeff Vandermeer, but I think the first time I heard of him was probably on Murphy's channel, if I am recalling that correctly. But sell me on these books, guys. Sell me on them because honestly, lately it has just been picking up things, starting them, and feeling kind of indifferent. I have been really slowly reading one romantasy, and that's One Dark Window, because my best friends and I do a romantasy book club where we rotate who picks a book. And oddly enough, this was my pick, but it's just that I've been not in the mood to read, even though I really am enjoying it. I like the vibe and aesthetic that she's created for that world, and it's a duology, which is nice. So you're not necessarily settling in for 10 books or some kind of epically long series. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know if I hit my quota with that when I had my year of Sanderson, and I just read so much that year of series and these interconnected worlds and stories that I felt like I needed a little bit of a break from it. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't been reading much audiobooks, yes, but primarily I'm waiting for holds to come in. What have you been listening to? Hello, Derry. It is so nice to see you. Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but for full transparency, my mental health has been very, very poor. So I don't know how well I would do with Hob right now. But simultaneously, I've had really wonderful conversations with people like Philip Chase who have said that Hob has done really wonderful things for their mental health when they've been going through more trying periods. So I don't know, maybe Hob would be a good pick, but maybe simultaneously not the best choice. Ebook is Abel Montero's The Crimson Fire. I have heard of this. Let me know how you are enjoying it. But ebooks are slow for me. I hear you. Ebooks are slow for me too. Emma Lyon Volume 1 by Beth Brower. It's a series of novellas about a girl coming of age in 1880s London and returning to her childhood home she's inherited. Okay, so genre-wise and vibe-wise, where are we kind of falling in that, Matt? Give me a heads up. Last three audiobooks: Robinson Crusoe, Legion, Sanderson, Island of the Blue Dolphins. That is quite varied. That is quite varied. Robinson Crusoe, I imagine, was fun. How was the audiobook for that? I'd be curious. Did Michael Kramer do Legion as well, or does Michael Kramer only exclusively do the Cosmere stuff? I don't know. Audiobooks, I find I never used to be an audiobook listener. I was really just a physical reader. And 2 years ago, because it was 2 years ago already that I started this channel, which is crazy, I had a concussion that I couldn't read. And I was halfway through book 3 of First Law, and I needed to know what was happening. I needed to know. So I picked up the audiobook, and of course I listened to the wonderful voice of Stephen Pacey, and that really lured me into audiobooks. He was the drug. And since then I have listened to hundreds of audiobooks, I feel like, because last year I read a crazy amount last year, and it was predominantly audiobooks. But this year I have really been a mix of things. I've done quite a few ebooks this year. I'm wanting to get back into physical reading. I just find that I really need to have the focus and mental capacity to do it, and I have not had that lately. So I'm hoping to get back to that soon, because I just need it, I feel like. Hello, Marianne. Hello, Sam. Nice to see you guys. Hello. Enjoying Crimson Fire. I'm about 15% in. That's great. Simon Vance. Oh, love Simon Vance. Simon Vance is great. Have you ever heard of the series 86? It's a Japanese light novel series, but I can see you liking it. I recently got caught up to the 13 books that were out, and I'm so upset it is not well known. I have not heard of it, Maddie. Tell me what it is about. Tell us all what it's about. Kramer did not do Legion. Interesting. Okay. I have PTSD and prolonged depression, and Hob does wonders through the gift of catharsis. Sometimes a full body cry is just what you need. There's been a lot of full body cries. A lot of full body cries, Derry. So maybe I will have to look at Hob. Would you recommend starting with Farseer? I'm reading a fae fantasy right now, The King of Elfhand's Daughter. How are you liking it, Britton? I really need to ring the king. Yeah. I've heard of Blood in the Mist. Is it the same author? I hear a phone ringing here. I don't know about you guys, but our spam calls lately have been going off like crazy. So that's all done now. It's driving us nuts. We're getting like sometimes 25 calls a day. It's just wild. He narrated GGK's first trilogy. So is that the Finnevar Tapestry? Because we just got book 2 of that, and it is gorgeous. It is so nice. I got Josh the first book that Grim Oak Press was doing for Christmas last year, and then his mom bought him book 2 for his birthday, and it just came in, and it is gorgeous. I absolutely love the cover, and the feel of their books are phenomenal. They're just so, so nice. Very lovely language. Different authors, but always said in the same breath for lyrical classical fantasy. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know vibe wise where I'm at right now, but hopefully something will strike soon and I will want to dive in. King of Elfhand's Daughter is Lord Dunsany, and Blood in the Mist is Hope Mirrlees or Mirless, both classic fairy novels. I will have to look at those because that sounds right up my alley. Nice. I still haven't decided. GGK is great. So, so great. I've read 2. So it's not like I have read through his catalog or anything like that, but I love The Lions of Awasan. I think it is one of the best books I have ever read. It is just perfection in a book, honestly, from the prologue, which is incredible, to the end scenes of that book, which are so gripping. It is something that I just devoured. I loved it so much. Had a wonderful conversation with Joanna, Jake, and Josh from Red Fury Books about that when we read it, man, like a year and a half ago, longer than that maybe. It was just so beautifully written. And the characters from that book, one of the characters from that book is arguably one of my favorite fantasy characters, Rodrigo Belmonte. He is just so well written. And honestly, there is humor woven throughout GGK that I really appreciate. He does such good historical research. And if you are an atmospheric reader, he is so, so good. And the other book of his that I have read was The Song for Arbonne, which I also really enjoyed. But you can start with either one of those, honestly. I didn't like A Song for Arbonne as much as Lions of Awasan because the setting and the time period I like more for Lions. But I know that Joanna and Josh preferred A Song for Arbonne, and they have gone on to read many more GGK books than I have, and I think for the most part they've all been a success, so that's been really great. But yeah, highly, highly, highly recommend GGK. Yes, start with Farseer. Okay, I will consider it. Derry, I will consider it, and I will let you know. Might listen to you since you were also penning a Fae fantasy. I am. Yes, I am penning a Fae fantasy. That is very true. It is the Finnevar Tapestry Dystopia in the best way, hugely comforting. Maybe I'll read that then. Maybe that would work. Oh, interesting. If Evie is still here, that is a big Catherine Arden fan. Lions or Song for Arbonne would be my vote, personally. That's the one I nabbed. I sold my other one, which was an old copy. Nice. Thought about getting, yeah, I don't blame you with that one. It's so good, Marianne. I think you will really, really enjoy it. You really can't go wrong with Lions, I feel like. My King of Elfhand's Daughter has given well, I've gotten rid of almost all of my Neil Gaiman books. The only one that I kept was Good Omens, and that was because it was also penned by Terry Pratchett. But it's a conversation for a different day. Yeah, I almost got it at the bookstore, the Arden Introduction Edition, but I decided not to. Yes, you're still here, Evie. Had a feeling. I started The Bear and the Nightingale, but I don't know why I never finished it. It was one of those things that I think life just got in the way, but I really enjoyed what I had read. I still have my copy here somewhere. Need to find it. There's, as you can see, many books behind me, and they are not organized in terms of genre or anything like that. So I don't know where it is, other than it is probably here somewhere. Did I hear a cat? Hi, Murray. Yes, I have a cat sleeping on a chair next to me here. Are you gonna show yourself? No, you're just sleeping. That's fine. My cat meows in his sleep. I don't know if anyone else's cat does this. I have one that growls in his sleep, and the other one just meows. You read The Bear and the Nightingale. You read The Bear and the Nightingale, and I'll read the Blade stuff. I would do that. I think that could be fun. I would be happy to do that, Evie. Let me know, and we can coordinate that. I think that could be good. I heard The Lead in the Mist was a big inspiration for Doctor Strange and Mr. Norrell. Nice. I always say Doctor Strange. It's not Doctor Strange. It's Mr. Strange and Mr. Norrell. I will never, ever get that. It is not a Marvel movie. I don't know why my brain auto registers that as Benedict Cumberbatch, and that's what it is. Hi, Murray. Yes. That'd be a fun live show. I think so. Evie, we got to make it happen. I think that would be fun. I thought you had tried. Had you tried First Law, Evie, or have you never tried Abercrombie? Please remind me. Yeah, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Maybe one day I'll get it correct. I don't know if I ever will. What has been people's favorite book of the year thus far? If they've had one, I would be curious to know. Yeah, maybe that'll get us both out of our slumpish situations. Maybe let's discuss and plan something, because that sounds good. I mean, you and I did read a book recently that we have very positive things to say about, so that'll be fun. But yeah, looking to get back into the swing of things. I've started multiple books this year, and I just haven't found my footing with them, and some of them are rereads, and it's for books that I know that I really like. It's just been a weird year. But mental health can be weird and can do that to you. That's what I have learned thus far this year. The book of the year so far is The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. Someone else I knew read that last year and absolutely loved it. So I think you are in good company, Evie. The Walking Drum by Louis L'Amour. So my husband's grandfather owned every Louis L'Amour book. And when he passed, he lived to be 101. When he passed, he had all these novels. So Josh kept one because we did not have room for all of them. Yeah, I need to read that too at some point. Evie, you could do a buddy read of a hugely comforting and light in tone Arrows of the Queen, First of the Heralds of Valdemar books with Laura. Then both of you will have to read it. Tell me about this book series, Derry, and we can assess. Hello, good to see you. And it was my first non-Ursi read of the year. There we go. I was wondering where we were going with that. Well, Doctor Strange and Jonathan Strange are both magicians, so I can see the mix up. I mean, that's fine with me. I'll take it. The Raven Scholar. I have seen really good things about The Raven Scholar, and a funny story. I guess it's not a super funny story, but it's a story nonetheless. The illustrator for the cover of The Raven Scholar is Tom Roberts, and I froth over Tom Roberts covers. They are just my absolute favorites. Like, I see one and I'm like, I know that's Tom. Like, I know that's Tom immediately. And I had wanted him to illustrate or do the book cover for my book. And I had reached out to him like 2.5, 3 years ago when I started thinking about writing. And I was like, hey, do you do independent book covers? And at that point he did. And then he went and he got agented. And when I started looking at having my cover done, I immediately reached out to Tom, and his agent told me that he no longer worked with independent authors, which was kind of a bummer. But I mean, it all worked out in the end because I ended up finding An Yen, who has done a beautiful job with my cover. But yeah, I saw that he did the cover for that book and was immediately intrigued because I think all the stuff he does is so, so beautiful. Emmeline 8, or The Name of the Rose. That is a really beautiful book title. I love that. My favorite book of the year so far would probably have to go to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. There you go. Another vote for the Valdemar series. Am I saying that correctly? Yeah, I need to read both of these apparently. Hey, sometimes when you're just not feeling it, it's okay to do something different. I normally bake quite a bit, but my health issues have been all gut issues, which has been affecting my mental health. So I am on a really strict diet right now, which has been a thing. So I haven't been able to bake lately, but I have been trying to pivot back into writing. So I did that. I have been trying to teach myself how to digitally draw because I would like to illustrate scenes from my books. So that's something that I'm trying to do. Um, and the other big thing that I have been distracting myself with lately is we are looking to move. So I have been focusing on that. Thank you, Matt. I absolutely love it too. Phase for me, Phase by Tori Tekken's Phased. That's awesome. If you read that, love a Tori Tekken book. That's great. It seems like we've had some varied books for the year so far, which is really fun. I love that. Yeah, by Tori. That's awesome. Her new book is coming out really soon, Cold Silver for Souls. If you are interested in a bounty hunter necromance fantasy story, I'm going to pull it up here and read the description of it. So people can see if that might be something they want to add to their TBR. So it is book 1 of Shade Silver. It is bounty hunter, necromancer, outcast. She goes on the hunt when the law doesn't want to get its hands dirty. Born and bred in the harsh northern winters, Hunter collects bounties on thieves and murderers for a handful of coin, dragging Rip, her animated corpse, behind her. Trust wears thin in the wild territories, and the law doesn't always land on the side of justice or on the side of a necromancer. Shadowed by the influence of a wealthy Shade Silver Baron, Hunter takes on one last job. But instead of an easy payday, Hunter finds something she never expected, something that will tear open old wounds and set her on a path to find justice for someone else. I think it sounds great. So I'm really excited to read that. And I think that'll be a really fun read this year. Valdemar is what would now be called New Adult, I think. Okay. A kingdom with an internal system of heralds who are people with mental gifts, telepathy, who get chosen by a companion. Interesting. I like a good companion. Also, guards. Yeah, maybe I should look at reading Terry Pratchett again. That's always good for a laugh. I also need to read Dungeon Crawler Carl. I can never say that fast. It is quite the tongue twister. A companion is a magical creature who looks like a horse, a blindingly white horse with blue eyes who bonds with them and becomes half of a pair that go out and keep the kingdom safe. Interesting. I could be down with that. Gormenghast might sneak in there. It's a dense read, but my God, it's a hell of a vision. Evie's all about that book. So you're in good company. Oh, Joanna, have so much fun. I believe you're going to London, if I remember correctly. I miss you too. Let's look at reading The Crystal Cave when you get back, because I think I need some Arthurian myth and retelling in my life. But yeah, have so much fun. I think you guys will have a fantastic time. We were there in October, and I love England so much, but so many good bookstores that you're going to be able to go to. Please send me like your itinerary of where you're going. I want to hear about it. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic time. Yeah, everyone hopes that you have a fantastic time. Yes, that's true for you, Gormgast. Oh my goodness. I was thinking of you today. I was thinking of you and Brandon, Manitoba, because stuff is going on for my family in Brandon, Manitoba. But yes, hello, Kyle. Are you free right now? Do you want to hop on with me? Shoot me a message in Discord if you are, and we can make that happen if that's the case. Yeah, it's been a weird time, guys. And like I said, I haven't been around much. But I have missed everybody. So I'm happy to see familiar faces here. It's always nice. So far for me is the Tea Master and the Detective which is a sci-fi Holmesian mystery novella set within a Vietnamese-inspired space opera. That is a lot, but that's good. Yeah, we can catch up about this, Kyle, but I'm happy you're at work and tuning in. That's always good. Kyle, what have you been reading? What has been your favorite read of the year so far? Yes, I do need to read DCC. I'm just going to call it DCC. I do plan on listening to it. Brian very generously sent me the audiobook for it. I just haven't listened to it yet. So maybe I'll start that as soon as I'm done with One Dark Window, or maybe even before, just so I have a laugh. Hello, Christopher Navo. How are you? Are you working right now? What are you doing? It is great to see your face. If you want to hop on with me, let me know and we can make that happen too. But yeah, it's been a while, guys. Just to kind of have a little sit down chat. I mean, I know I had that little check-in a couple of weeks ago, but it's different when you check in on like 10 a.m. on a Monday morning, which I was surprised with how many people ended up tuning into that, which I greatly appreciated because that was really wonderful of everybody. But it's different when it's evening time on a Tuesday. I would pick up DCC, but I've added too many first books of a series to my TBR. At one point, I had created a thumbnail and I opened a document and I started calculating how many series I had started since creating my channel. And it was so many that I knew that this video would end up being close to like over an hour long. And I ended up scrapping it because I just didn't have the capacity to sit down and record it. But I agree. It's there when you are actively watching people's book videos and you are following booktube or bookstagram and all that stuff, or you're actively engaged, it is so easy to find yourself reading so many different series. It happens. It definitely happens. Speaking of One Dark Window, I cannot wait for The Night and the Moth. I love that cover so much. I think it is so, so, so nice. I really do love the cover for that one. It's one of my favorites for the year so far. Christopher Navo, are you still here? I'm going to shoot you a message really quickly. Find or start a conversation, Chris Navo. Yeah. Let me see. Also moving and putting out a new book. Hell of a year for you so far. Yeah. We're not moving this year, but we are in the process of starting our immigration journey for Josh to move to Canada. So that's the big thing that we are working on. And we will hopefully be moving next year, because it all depends on processing times and things like that, which can change regularly and do change month to month. But we're excited for this next phase and this next step and journey of what that's going to look like for us. And I'm excited to move back home. So that'll be exciting for me. Yes, we are moving to Canada. I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait. Yeah, I need a much bigger plate. I need like a platter, like a really big platter. That would be good. It is exciting. We are very much looking forward to it. I have missed being at home for quite some time. So yeah, I am excited. Obligatory Canadian joke. I mean, if it's as sweet as maple syrup, you can make all the jokes that you want. Is there any chance I can move to Canada with you? I mean, you can file your immigration stuff, and see how that goes for you. But yeah, we've had quite a bit going on behind the scenes here. So it's been good though with some things. Other things have been a slow process, but things get better with time, as they usually do. And that's been the case over here. But yeah, we are looking at the places that we might want to live and getting together all kinds of documentation, because governments like their paperwork, which is something I learned when I moved to the US many, many years ago now. So yeah, anything else that we should talk about in our little catch up here? Are there books that you are looking forward to for the rest of the year? I'm going to pause for a second and go grab a quick snack, and I'm going to be right back, like 2 seconds. Let me know what books you are looking forward to. And as soon as I come back, I will share them with you all. And we're back. So, as I said earlier, I'm really looking forward to The Devils. I was super looking forward to Emily Henry's new book, which I, spoiler alert, loved. No surprise if you've followed my channel and you know that I love Emily Henry. Let's see. A Brief History of Seven Killings, Blood in the Mist, The Rest of Gormenghast, Bloody Chamber, Pale Fire. Those are some good ones. I'm excited to read the rest of DCC and continuing my. I am so excited by this, Evie. Like, I love this for you. We definitely need to talk about it. Yes, Kyle, I saw that you got it, and I am very, very jealous. But also congratulations to you. I am also excited for Strength of the Few. Kyle, I'm offended that my book isn't at the top of your list for the year. I mean, as a super romantic reader that you are, I'm gonna take offense to that. I'm getting ready to start The Forgotten Dawn. I hope that you enjoy it. It's always strange when people start reading your books, but I hope that you love it. I might read The Devils, but we'll see. I hope that we all read The Devils and that we all love it, because Stephen Pacey and Joe Abercrombie together is like the perfect marriage of things. It's kind of the same for Julia Whelan and Emily Henry. It's a perfect pairing. Perfect pairing. This is the type of relationship that Kyle and I have. And it's okay. He's wrong most of the time, even though we tend to agree on most of the things that are bookish opinions. Tough love only. Gotta have thick skin with Kyle. Okay. Parasol Protectorate Book 2 Changeless. That is another tongue twister, which I really enjoy. I stopped mid-fall from a magical. Oh my goodness. What's it about, Gary? Tell me what it's about. That's funny. I'm looking forward to Lawrence Ellsworth's last novel in the Musketeer Cycle, a new English translation of D'Artagnan romances. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Color me intrigued. If I look at my upcoming TV, I'm going to freeze up. I get it. I mean, some people have done videos about all the books that are releasing in 2025, and I don't know if there is another year that I have had more upcoming books to read. Like, it's pretty wild how many books are coming out this year. It's terrifying. Thank you, Kyle. That is very kind. I had one person leave a review so far that said it is more like epic fantasy. So there you go. And I accept that. I'm totally fine with that. I want to set those Ellsworth Dumas books. Yeah. Those sound interesting to me. How romancy are they? like are they romance, or is it kind of just a subplot woven into the story? Let me know, because I am curious. Yeah, it's kind of wild how many different things are coming out this year. And they're all different genres, which I love. But there's also so many fantasy books coming out. This one person I follow, I'm sorry that I'm eating and speaking at the same time, but when there's no one else to play off of you, this is kind of just the reality of the situation. Unless Evie, do you want to join me? Let me know if you want to pop on. There is someone I follow on Instagram, And she posted today how many books came out today. And it was insane. It was pages worth of books that were coming out today. It's a swashbuckling adventure. Ooh. Okay. You have definitely piqued my interest. That sounds good. Please, when this is done, comment the link to this book because I want to check it out. That sounds really good. Let me see. Yeah, swashbuckling adventure sounds good. I've also been possibly tempted to go back into the Lies of Locke Lamora because I read book 1, which I really enjoyed, and it felt very episodic and final for me. So I didn't feel that urgency to jump into book 2, but Josh has read all of them and is obsessed. He absolutely loves them. So that's been something I've been toying with. Christopher Nava, you are still here. I sent you a message before and you didn't answer. So I assumed you had left. I know. We're all reading books and all publishing books right around the same time. It's good. It's good. Let's see here. Hold on one second. We're going to have a guest here in a second. What else? It's brain fluff, werewolves, vampires, Victorian, steampunkish. I could get behind that. Book is great. Which book, Kyle? I'm so not a binger. Oh my gosh, I wish I could do this. I just binge. If I find a series I like, Kyle made fun of me last year because I read all of Age of Madness in like a week, and it was delightful. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
You have a cat butt, so there you go.
How is she doing?
She's eating, which is great. And she's eating wet food specifically because this is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
You can get the pancreatic enzyme in her. So.
That's awesome. I'm glad she's doing better, it seems like.
Oh yeah. She's waking us up at an ungodly hour. It's fine.
There is this noise. If you are a cat owner, you know the sound. And if you are not a cat owner, I'm sorry. But when they start to heave and you know they're going to be sick, like, yeah, our cat does it exclusively at 5 a.m. Exclusively. She will only be ill at 5 a.m. And it doesn't matter where she is in the house. It auto wakes me from sleep. Like, it's just one of those things. And my parents were visiting and they left this morning at 4 a.m. to drive back home to beat traffic. And I got up early to lock the door after they left, went back to bed for about an hour, and at 5 a.m. was woken up by that sound and was just like, oh. It's just one of those things where you're like, really? Really? So yeah, she pretty much exclusively 5 a.m.ers. Sorry, I'm eating and editing and feeding the pet, so I've been off and on. That's totally fine. Red Seas over Red Skies. Yeah, I think that's Joanna's favorite of the Lies of Locke Lamora books. Have you read Lies of Locke Lamora, Evie?
I have not. I have them somewhere. I intended to read them last year, but that obviously did not happen.
But you're in your new era now.
It's true. I mean, comparatively, I'm in an era. I do have my Oxford year waiting. I'm slowly but surely reading Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez.
Okay. How's that coming?
It's fine. I just want to read yours truly to see if I will like that better.
You will.
So. But I will say, before I forget, it's really weird having two different sides of my life combined because one of the friends of my friend from high school has an arc of your book, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like,
Really?
"This is a really small world."
That's wild.
And she was like, "Yeah, I wasn't sure." Hold on, what did she say? She said something, and I was like, "Wait, what? This is a small world." And she said, doo, 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 doo. What was it? Um, she was nervous to start it since it looks like it's almost 900 pages, and she's been spoiling herself on books half that size. She's on the hunt for a romantasy that gives her the same vibes, same feelings that she had when she first read ACOTAR, but from an author that doesn't give her the ick. And I told her, I was like, I know Laura personally, so I trust she won't give you the ick.
I
And
hope
she's like,
not.
that's great.
I hope not. I hope there's no ick giving. It's not quite 900 pages. But it isn't it's not short. So, I mean, it's this long. But in regards
That's average in fantasy terms, but I guess if you're a romance reader, that probably looks like
it does, yeah. So the book itself, I give the first chapter from book 2 at the end of this. But the book itself is 508 pages. So it's longer for a romantasy / romance, but for fantasy, it's short. So I feel like it's striking that balance.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But that's so funny how that happened. I hope she likes it. You can send her to my Discord if she does that, because there's a few people hanging out and talking in there about the book when she starts reading it. Evie, you are. What is the word?
Going to give me a complex and a weird, unrealistic high self-worth or something. I don't know.
So what compelled you to start reading Lila Sage? Because last we were talking, that wasn't really on your radar.
So someone posted a wrap up, and I can't remember which Lila Sage book I think Wild and Wrangled, I think that's the one. They read that one. I'm like, dang it, I really like these covers. And I technically had tried Done and Dusted like a few months ago. And I'm like, this is not for me. But apparently now I'm in the mood. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. I find with that stuff, I really have to be in a specific mood. So yeah. All right. Have fun at work, Kyle. I will talk to you later.
Yeah. It was more smutty than I
would have
liked, but I'm like, all right, whatever. It's got horses, so it's good.
It does. And that's why I think you're really gonna like Elsie Silver, because there's a ton of horses and stuff in hers. Like, one of her series as a whole is all about like horses and horse racing and people. Like, one of them, the female's a jockey and stuff, which is, I think you'll like those ones.
Female jockey is interesting.
Chris, if you're still here, I can show you the 2 versions of the hardcover. One of them still has the Amazon bullshit on it, but this one is printed right onto the book. And then the dust jacket one is this one, which is like this. So yes, hardcovers. Anita, it's 508 pages, not 580 pages. So it's significantly better, like by a margin.
Is it the Gold Rush Ranch series, or
yes,
there's Rose Hill?
So it's Gold Rush is the first series. Then the second series is Chestnut Springs. The third series is Rose Hill, which of the 3 series, Rose Hill is my favorite, I think. Thanks, guys. This will be the one that is available on Amazon. And this will be the one that is not available on Amazon, because, fun surprise, Amazon doesn't let you, as an indie author, do dust jackets. So that's fun. Yeah, the 2 platforms that you can use to self-publish are called Ingram Spark and KDP. KDP is owned by Amazon. Ingram Spark does everybody else. So if you buy an indie book through Barnes and Noble or something like that, you've bought it through Ingram Spark. Ingram's major difference is that A, it's getting you into different places, and B, it lets you do the dust jacket, and Amazon just straight up says no. So yeah, they will only do the print hardcover, which is, it's weird, but it is what it is. Hello. Yeah, Amazon. Yeah, it's just, thank you. So what's on the docket for the next contemporary romance book?
Other than Part of Your World, getting through that, probably gonna try My Oxford Year. Finally, because I know you were like, rate it.
Between the two, I preferred Thank You for Listening, but I still loved My Oxford Year by Julia Whalen.
I'm a
It made me
publication
cry so
weirdo.
many times. Like, I cried ugly crying reading
My
that.
Oxford Year, or
Yeah, My Oxford Year.
maybe that's not for me then. I need something light and fluffy and
That
maybe
isn't it.
a little smutty. So.
Yeah, no, that is not it. I would definitely, between the two, if you're looking for that, you need to go with Thank You for Listening. But again, you got to do the audio for that one, just because you miss out so much on it. But
I'm still like so mind boggled how she switched those voices. For context, everyone, Julia Whalen did like a live reading where she like switched up voices.
it was incredible. It was incredible. She did. First of all, we need to give people context here. Evie is the most generous person alive, and very graciously and generously bought me an invitation to this thing with Julia Whalen and Emily Henry, which was incredible. And they decided to do a live thing where, because Julia Whalen has narrated all of Emily Henry's contemporary romance novels, it's funny, like, side tangent here. I assumed Julia Whalen had like 3 male voices that she kind of just recycled, and the same with the female voices. But then listening to her do that, I was like, oh, it's way more than 3. So she started doing this thing where she would speak as a character in like random conversation, and Emily Henry had to guess which character she was voicing at the time. And watching her do that was the most surreal experience. Just like,
wait, was she guessing, or I thought she was like throwing out names to say?
Oh yeah, she was throwing out names to her. That's what it was. Yeah, she would be like Nora, Daphne, Miles, and like she was just saying the both gender names. And watching Julia Whalen not flinch and her mouth just like move. Yeah, it was a thumbs up. It was incredible. It was so surreal just watching her and being completely weirded out that like she was able to do that at the drop of a hat.
Drop of a hat. Yeah.
Yeah. It was insane. She is incredible.
I can barely speak with my own voice in a, borderline audible way.
Yeah, she is just, I love her so much. And as an author as well, I love Julia Whalen. And that's the thing. Like, I feel most people don't know that she's written books. And I mean, I didn't know either until my local library book club did Thank You for Listening. And I was like, oh my God, Julia Whalen's written books. Cool.
You know what? I think, even though I'm probably going to cry too, I think My Oxford Year is going to be the next one, because you know what? Spoiler alert for the event. Well, not really spoiler alert, because I don't think it's anywhere, but Julia Whalen's favorite book, for everyone in the chat, is Persuasion by Jane Austen. I literally screamed. Laura and I were like typing back and forth during this event. I screamed. She immediately messaged me like, "Did you hear
Persuasion?"
I blacked out. I was screaming. So.
Yeah. Oh my God. As soon as she said that, I was like, oh my God, Evie just fainted. Like 100% Evie just fainted. I need to, I don't know what it is with me and Jane Austen, Evie. Like, I don't vibe with it in the way that I hope to.
I mean, I guess if you read it like a contemporary romance, but I mean, well, it was a contemporary romance for a time.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you could vibe with it that way. I mean, is
maybe
it the writing style, or?
I think it's the language, honestly. I just think it's the language that like I get kind of hung up on it. But like I'm like that with a lot of things where either I'm hooked off the bat or I'm not. And if I feel like I'm trying to focus too hard on it to decipher meaning in things, I find that I lose focus really quickly. So I don't know.
Have
Maybe
you tried Northanger Abbey?
I haven't. No, the only ones I have tried have been Pride and Prejudice, Persuasion. Might even just be those two. And I tried Persuasion, I think like a little bit ago, because you were like, read Persuasion. It was after we had read Emily Henry, and you were like,
Yelling at you and Yolanda to
yeah,
read
you were like, you
Persuasion.
need to go read Persuasion. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I tried it, and I was like, I just can't. The thing is, though, that like I love Jane Austen adaptations. So I'm super game to watch them, but I just haven't fell in love with reading them. But I need to give it another try, I think.
I would try Northanger Abbey.
Okay.
Because it's the most, like, lighthearted.
Was that the last one she wrote?
So it was technically the first one she wrote. Persuasion
That's what it
was
is.
the last
First
one
and
she
last.
wrote. Yeah.
Yeah.
She wrote it when she was 19. So, like, it's
Incredible.
decidedly different from the rest of her books.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she's making fun of readers. Or not making fun, but, like, she's poking fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the main character is a reader and obsessed with gothic romances and wants to live in a gothic romance. And
I mean, I don't blame her. Yeah, I don't know, because that's the thing. Like aesthetically, I love everything about that time period, and everything else meets what I like. It's just that general falling into the story. So yeah, I'll have to give that one a try and see if it's a better connection, and then maybe that'll be my gateway drug.
also, I mean, since you do audiobooks, there's obviously a lot of audiobook narrators for Jane Austen books since they're public domain, but
Mhm.
oh god, what's her name?
Rosamund Pike.
No, not Rosamund Pike. Although I think she does narrate Pride and Prejudice.
I think she also does Persuasion, because I think the Persuasion I started listening to was Rosamund Pike, but I could
Oh,
be
really?
mistaken. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. Could be wrong.
Juliet Stevens or Stevenson. I listened to her version of Sense and Sensibility.
Okay.
She's pretty witty. So
All right. I like that. Yeah, Rosamund Pike narrates a bunch of them. Good to know. She also Stevenson.
thank you.
Rosamund Pike, I believe, was in the Pride and Prejudice adaptation with Keira Knightley. Yeah.
Jane.
Yeah, she's the older sister. Which I love that adaptation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Everyone's like 1995. I'm like, screw you guys. 2005.
2005 is my favorite too. And the music in that film is so beautiful. It's perfection.
Mwah.
Yeah. Everything in that one is
You know what I say to you, Derry? Shut up.
Yeah, no, I saw that in the theater with my mom, and we both just were so enamored by it. And she's also not a Jane Austen reader, so I don't really know what compelled her to go see this. I think we just watched like most adaptations in general, and when immediately when it came out on DVD, I bought it, and we just had it like on loop because we loved the soundtrack so much, and the cast is so good in that movie. They're all good. So, yeah, and the guy who plays, I can't remember his actual name, but he plays oh my god. It's not Mr. Bingham, is it?
Bingley?
Bingley? It is Mr. Bingley. He was Augustus in Rome, and like they could not have been more different.
I remember seeing him in he played like this pompous like suitor guy in Penelope. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, I know the one you're talking about though. Yeah, yeah.
It's Christina Ricci and James McAvoy.
Pig nose, right?
Yeah,
That whole thing, yeah.
Listen, if anyone wants an underrated movie, that's such a cute underrated movie. I love it so much. Peter Dinklage is in it. Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, more great people. I read this the other day that he didn't like playing Darcy, and I was like Matthew Macfadyen, and I was personally offended because he's perfect as Darcy. Like he is literally Darcy in human form.
I
So yeah,
saw that interview and it was so like I'm like, oh my god, sweet, sweet, sweet boy. You are
hmm
so cute.
I know he was
Because he was
perfect.
so like he just felt like he wasn't like he wasn't
Enough.
Mr. Darcy and enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you were so sweet. Oh my god.
That's the thing I like about it though, is that he's not overly pretty, you know? It felt like a real person, and I thought I appreciated that so much. I mean, like, listen, we can agree to disagree here, Jerry, but the 2005 version is better. I'm sorry. I love me some Hugh Grant, or not, it's not Hugh Grant, it's Colin Firth that does the 95 version,
Yeah.
and he's great, but Matthew McFadden's Darcy was
Matthew
perfect.
McFadden is perfect as brooding while also a golden retriever boyfriend.
Correct.
So good. Not golden
100%
retriever.
correct.
What's the
If he
verb?
was
Like
younger,
yeah.
I think he would have been such a good Miles, for Funny Story.
Yes.
Like, that's kinda got that Miles vibe, I think. He also probably could have done, if he's pretty tall, so he also probably could do, Great Big Beautiful Life. Like, he probably would have been good as Hayden.
Very broody, but
Yeah.
also soft and
Yeah. I think that probably
emotionally
would have worked.
available.
Yeah, but honestly, I love him as Darcy. I think he's a great Darcy. I appreciate when Hollywood will actually do something that, like, not everyone is looking like they've been made with Photoshop.
I will say it was very weird for me as a lover of the 2005 Pride and Prejudice to then watch the whatever year it was adaptation of Anna Karenina, and I'm like,
Yes.
it's Elizabeth and Darcy. They're not
Mhm.
supposed to be brother and sister. What's happening?
Yeah. I watched that a couple of years ago. I was so pregnant when I watched that movie, and I was just like, I hated being pregnant, and I didn't wanna be pregnant anymore. I had done IVF to get pregnant, and my pregnancy was miserable, and I was like, "I just want, like, sorrow." So I was like, "I'm gonna just watch Anna Karenina. That's what I'm gonna do." And the thing I liked best about that movie was the costuming. I really loved
I
the
do like
costuming for that one.
the project of it where it's like the stage play and everything
Mhm.
like that. I thought that was
It was a
really
good concept. I
yeah.
liked that too.
And the cinematography was great.
It
It
was. I
still was.
liked how it was
But
filmed. I'm trying to think of what the last adaptation I watched was, and honestly, I don't know.
Persuasion was terrible.
I did not
So
watch Persuasion, but I did watch Emma. I watched Emma.
I love the Autumn to Wild Emma adaptation. It's
Mm,
so good.
yeah.
So good.
I love Josh Charles in, like, everything that he does. So as soon as I saw he was in Emma, he plays the priest.
That's
Um,
oh, okay, yeah. Ugh.
yeah, I was like, immediately I'm sold. So, and Bill Nye, or Bill, how do you say his last name? Nye? Is that it?
I pronounce it Nye because I'm like, Bill Nye, British
Bill
guy, Bill
Nye.
Nye, the science guy.
Yeah, I mean, I love him in Love Actually so much that, like, I will watch him in anything now because of how much I love him in Love Actually. So, yeah.
I first saw Bill Nye in Underworld.
What a first thing to see him in.
And then I
Ah,
watched him in Shaun of the Dead.
which is great. That is
Shaun
a
of the Dead is a
great
great movie.
film.
And I'm
Um,
like, "This guy has range, baby." So
yeah, I love him. So, Nye Am I saying that correct? I don't know. Um, Either way, I don't I think the first thing I saw him in was Love Actually, and then he's in, this is very niche, but he's in one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who.
I
Which is,
forgot he played Davy Jones. Sorry.
he
Sorry.
did play
Sorry.
Davy Jones, that is true. That might actually be where I first saw him, now that I come to think of it. That is where I first saw him. But yeah, he's in one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes, which is Vincent and the Doctor, where the Doctor goes back in time and meets with
Mm.
Vincent Van Gogh. and he's the curator of the modern museum, and it's like just beautiful. It's such a good episode of television. Yeah, old rock star in Love Actually. He's so good in Love Actually. I quote him regularly from that film. I love that movie in general. But yeah, I'm trying to think though, like last adaptation that I watched, and I don't know.
What is it?
Trying to
I
think.
was I was
Go ahead.
supposed to watch Butcher's Crossing,
Mm.
but I forgot. Oops.
I'm just waiting for people we meet on vacation. Like, I just really want people we meet on vacation. Which I know is not your favorite. It's, I think, your least favorite, right?
It is my least favorite. But the further away from it, like it's not like gonna be an all-time favorite, but I appreciate it because
Mhm.
you know.
I think I've read it now like 5 times.
When does the special
Uh,
edition come out of that one?
say that again?
When does the special edition come out of that one? Do you know?
I think August, so I'm
Okay.
thinking that it might coincide, but I mean, she said during that chat we were at that she doesn't have the release date for it, and I think that's true. But I know that a few people on Reddit have seen it, and they said that they thought it was great because they got to go to the screening for it that
And it's
Netflix
supposed to be
did and
on
stuff like that.
Netflix,
It's
right?
Netflix, yeah. I don't know where all of her stuff is getting adapted because like they're all getting adapted. I will be curious to see if Great Big Beautiful Life has joined that slew of things. Um, but vibe wise, they're also different from each other. So it'll be interesting to see like how they all stand. I'll be
Yeah.
curious. Yeah. That episode of Doctor Who is excellent. It is so, so, so good. And if people don't even like Doctor Who, you should still watch that episode because it's great.
I've never seen Doctor Who, but even I know that episode.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you'd probably like Doctor Who.
well, I tried the first episode of the Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah. Eccleston. Yeah.
Couldn't get into it.
That's okay.
Transmarians.
Honestly, certain doctors work for certain people and not for everybody, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That is
I
cool.
am not hopeful at all about this
Mm.
upcoming adaptation of Wuthering Heights because, to be honest, and if I remember correctly, nope, never mind. I'm thinking of Greta Gerwig. I've never seen anything by Emerald Fennell, whatever her name is. But yeah, I have no hope. They're gonna make it a romance, and a tragic romance. It's not a romance, not even a tragic one. It's just a tragedy. So, and they're gonna ruin it.
Not that she has any strong feelings on it, Marianne.
Well, it's
Funny.
similar feelings too. Which, oh my god, I'm just realizing this. Oh Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Guillermo del Toro is doing an adaptation of Frankenstein.
I've seen the trailer for that with
Wait, they have a trailer
Oscar.
out now?
I think there's a teaser.
I know they have like teaser like photos with Oscar Isaac, which it's Oscar Isaac. I
I
will watch
love Oscar
anything that
Isaac.
man is in.
Yeah. I think it might have just been the photos that I saw now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, and I just recently realized that it's not an adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It is a adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and the 1931 or 1930s adaptation of Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein. So I was like, okay, so basically you're just doing popular culture Frankenstein, not
I thought it
actual.
was the book. That's so upsetting. I thought it was the book too.
And the reason that while I was saying, oh my god, so Jacob Elordi, if that's how you pronounce his last name, is playing Heathcliff in the Wuthering Heights adaptation.
Mhm.
He's also playing the creature in Frankenstein.
He's varied.
Because he's like 8 foot tall. You
Mhm.
know, it's fine. It's fine. Anita, yes, I did watch that. By the way, Laura, I did watch that Odyssey adaptation, The Return with Ralph Fiennes. It was a waste of my money. It was
Yeah,
so
I
bad.
will never watch that ever.
So bad.
No.
I am not I will wait till the Christopher Nolan Odyssey comes out on Rent. That's the only way I'll watch it.
When does that one come out?
I think they're still filming it, I think? Question mark?
Yeah, I won't watch that either. Um, I'm I'm really so it's one of two things. It either has to be so bad that I'll watch it, like Troy, which I greatly enjoy because of how bad it is. Like, I love Troy. Troy for me is a comfort watch, not only because, like, I love the bulk of the actors in that movie. Like, not that anyone needs to know this about me, but my epitome of what like the best looking man on earth was for many, many years was Eric Bana in that film.
I thought you
Um,
were gonna say Brad Pitt, and I was just gonna
no,
leave.
no,
So,
it's Eric Bana without question.
alright, I will allow
And
that.
yeah, I love first of all, Hector is my favorite character from that whole narrative. That's part 1. Part 2, Eric Bana in that film is fire. So, I love that film, A, just to watch Eric Bana, and B, for how bad it is because they made it a romance, which it's not, you know? And, like, first of all, they made they made Achilles not gay, which like is a thing. And I'm like, him and Patroclus are lovers. Like that is what it is. And instead it's all about him and Briseis. So it's
Speaking
fine.
of, tangentially related,
Mhm.
I'm getting into a nonfiction era as well, by the way. So I'm
Okay.
reading Helen of Troy, the story of the
Nice.
most beautiful woman in the world.
Very nice.
Bethany Hughes is a wonderful nonfiction author. Her prose is well, prose. Her writing is very,
Yeah.
very accessible.
Love that.
Not sure if you've read it, but
I have not.
amazing.
Send me the name of it. But Mary Beard is usually my recommendation to people, but she does all Roman stuff for the most part. But I love her so, so very much.
I read
But yeah.
Women in Power, by the way. Did I tell you that?
Did you read it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Did you like it? That I would say is the weakest of what she's written because it was a speech that was adapted
Yeah.
to make that
And
book.
it felt, and I think I put it in like my little blurb review of like it felt introductory to things that were,
Mhm.
it's like a starting point to like if you want to
Yeah.
delve more into like feminist and even
Mhm.
historical, feminism and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But it was great.
for
So
sure. I would say if you're looking for like introduction to um Roman stuff, her SPQR book is really good. If you want to start getting more niche with it, her book on the Roman triumph is so interesting, which is like really niche and really specific.
what was the one?
Because
Was it Emperor of Rome? Is that one that she
yeah,
did?
Emperor of Rome is her newest one, and then she has another book called How Do We Look, which,
I have that one. I got that one and Women in Power when you
yeah, so How Do We Look is kind of similar in vein to, Women in Power, that it takes you through the evolutionary nature of, like, depicting what people wear and how we talk about what people wear and how we present ourselves to society, and it's interesting, but, like, it's not groundbreaking or revelatory in any way, I don't find. But SPQR is excellent. Like I really, really enjoy SPQR. And if you want to watch a documentary, because she's done many, her Meet the Romans series is a 3-part series and is chef's kiss good.
I did watch that. That
Yeah,
was my nighttime bed routine of, like, watch at least 1 episode before bed,
nice.
um, much to my husband's chagrin.
Bye, Derry.
Like, we're watching Roman stuff.
Hmm.
What is SPQR? What does that mean? What does that stand for? What does that reference to?
It is Senatus Populus Coelus Romanus. So it's like the people of Rome, basically. It was
Oh,
like even when you go to Rome now, it is marked on like drains and stuff like SPQR and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's like policy, essentially.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's you sent me something. What did you send me? Thank you. Yeah. um but it starts with the foundation of Rome and takes you through the few kings that Rome did have before it became the republic, through the republic into the empire. And it's very preliminary, but simultaneously, like, it's still a lot of information. So I feel like it's a really good foundational starting point for people that are interested in Roman history. And like, she just has this way of engaging, I find. And I mean, like, not everyone is going to relate to it in the same way. I mean, I'm, like really pro Rome. So like I tend to like that stuff. But I find her like she writes for people who might not have that background knowledge and context to like get them interested in it, which is something that I really, really enjoy.
Have
I
you read anything by Emma Southon? Southon?
don't think so.
Fatal Thing happened on the way to the Forum, and then I have A Rome of
Oh,
Wanted. I haven't
yeah.
read it yet, but A Fatal Thing on the Way to the Forum was actually really fascinating. Like,
Have you talked to Alan about that one?
I have not, but just her writing style, like, she writes very modernly about, I don't know, about ancient Rome. Like, she talks about people being dickheads. Like, she, like, it's really funny.
Yeah,
Um, so
I love that. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and I like that about Mary Beard too, is that she takes you into like the everyday people of the Roman Empire. It's not just the elite people that live there. It's like really who were the people that foundationally made up the empire, made up the republic. And I love that because I mean, reading about emperors and things is fine. Like I love it. I've done my fair share of it, but like I'm genuinely curious about how people actually lived back then.
emperors do not make empires.
No. They most certainly do not, unless they're Augustus, in which case he did absolutely no wrong and was absolutely perfect in everything that he did. 10 out of 10. Kat likes both Mary Beard and who is Kat?
Cat on Alan's server.
Gotcha. Yeah, honestly, I would think that people would probably like both of them in regards to what they're looking for. But I love that you're starting to get into that. That's exciting.
It's only taken forever. It's fine.
It's funny because like I feel like I really went the opposite way where I read so much of it that I haven't touched it for like a decade
No
almost.
more.
Yeah, honestly. And I think about it on a regular basis because like I have this whole section of our bookshelves is fantasy, and then we have one shelf that is like academic. And I look at it and I'm like, I haven't touched you guys in so long. It's just you've just been sitting here, like including the new Mary Beard book. I have that Roman Emperor book, Emperor of Rome, and I haven't touched it yet. So, no. But yes, I've actually been to Carthage and it's a really cool place if you can ever go to visit it. After reading I Claudius, I don't think Livia is a thing. I absolutely hate her, but I love Augustus very, very much, Anita. But also I didn't like I Claudius. I'm so sorry. I was one of the only people that DNF that book. I hated it. Was not vibing with it at all.
The silver lining of me just dusting you and Alan on both the Iliad and the Odyssey
Yep.
is that I read the Iliad and the Odyssey and got obsessed with them.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be reading the newer translation of the Aeneid when it comes out in August.
I wish you luck.
We'll find out.
Yeah, honestly, Alan is more positive on the Aeneid than I am, but I struggle hard with the Aeneid. Of the three, it is by far for me my least favorite, which is interesting because like I'm so pro ancient Rome over ancient Greece in general. So,
I'm gonna read it and keep in the back of my mind that it's fan
Copy.
fiction
Yep,
of the Iliad.
it is. And the Odyssey. It is really a combination of the two. It's that quintessential meme of that kid like peering over his fellow student's shoulder and copying his homework. Like that's what it is. And I remember the first time I read it because it's a propaganda piece. The whole thing is a propaganda piece for Augustus. And you look at it and you're like, how did anyone keep a straight face with this? Like anybody. And it just gets more absurdist as
Yeah.
it goes on because of the fact that Augustus was basically threatening him. And like you see where he obviously was being threatened because like it's just like the absurdity level is like, and then there's like these like clear spikes in the text and things like that. But it's interesting to read it with the context of the other two,
Yeah.
to have that like full picture. Um, but you will hate Aeneas by the end of that story. Oh my god. He drove me absolutely wild. But
My
Dido felt very sorry for Dido.
my intent is to finish Dante at least Dante's Inferno before I read the Aeneid, because
Yeah,
I'm like,
interesting.
well, Virgil kind of guides him through hell, so
Mhm.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so Anita, they were sort of friends, and then it became a very clear, like, threatening situation that you will write what I tell you to write type thing.
That's
Further
what I
asserting
imagine
his
all emperor friends to the emperor situations turn out.
most of them, yeah. Augustus is so fascinating though because he's the first, right? And he sets the precedent for what it is to be emperor and what the image of the emperor is. And like one of the things that I find so fascinating about him is that he is starting from scratch, right? And like creates these rules
Mhm.
and he creates them for himself, but then inadvertently creates it for all of his successors. And what my favorite one is that men in ancient Rome in the and not in the empire in the republic, when you had a sculpting done of yourself, you did it when you were older because you wanted to look revered, respected, aged, and that lent itself to all of those things. Augustus comes in and goes, I will not look older than the age of 27 in any depiction ever. And he doesn't. We have no idea what he looked like as an older man. None. And he lived to be a substantial age, but in all of his statuary, 27. Like, that's it. That's
I
the end.
mean, the original 27 Club.
He's it. He is it. Like, and it was creating this whole idea that he was a living god,
Yeah.
right? And he's great. I love him. He's like absolutely insane, but in all the best ways.
At least he didn't burn down Rome,
No, not
make,
Nero.
screw his sister,
No, in the TV show he
allegedly make a
did.
horse a senator.
Yes, no, not allegedly, definitely did. Caligula was a thing. Funny enough, when I moved to the US, I moved to Richmond, Virginia, because that's where Josh was living at the time. And the VMFA is the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. It's an excellent museum if anyone is going through Richmond. They have one of 4 statues in the world of Caligula.
Really?
Yeah, it's so random. It's so random. And like their ancient section is really quite nice. And they've got a few reliefs that are copied from the Met, but everything else for the most part is original. And you walk into this room and it's just quartered off. And there's this statue standing. And I was like, oh, it's an emperor. Like you can tell once you've seen one, like they're all sort of the same. And the reason that was is literally they would make the bodies the exact same and the heads
Just
were
cut off the head.
removable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we walked up close to it and I was like, that looks kind of like Caligula. And I was like, but that can't be Caligula, right? Like that, no. And then
Why would
you
it be
read the
in
thing.
Virginia? Hello?
Exactly. I was like, why is this here? Like, this is the most random place for this to be. So yeah, it's like one of 4 in the world, and the Fine Arts Museum in Richmond, Virginia has one of 4. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, Caligula, he's a time. He's an absolute time. Death of Virgil by Herman Brock about his last days and the Aeneid. Beautiful but dense book. Interesting. I have not read that. I have not read that.
I think it was written during when the Nazis were in power, and it's may or may not be also has like critiques on
Oh,
Nazism, if I
yes.
recall correctly.
I think that might be true. Legit 150 pages or look like this cover is talking.
Well, it's also apparently stream of consciousness, so
There's a lot of good stuff you got to look forward to. Like a lot of good stuff.
I mean, to be fair, with a book called Death of Virgil, like, you know,
Yeah.
I'd
I'd
be
be curious, like, you ended up reading The Trojan Women, right?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, okay.
I could probably do that. I have a bunch of Euripides.
I
Greek
would.
lessons.
Did you get those on my recommendation? Because those are definitely my editions that I have of that.
Well, not the specific editions, but I did get them. You're like Euripides, Trojan women,
Mm-hmm.
and then Iphigenia. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some good ones in there.
I
I
can't
love
remember which
Euripides.
ones were in. Oh, Heracles and Hecate.
Or is the Oresteia in that one too?
Uh,
Clytemnestra, maybe?
Heracles, Hecate, Hippolytus, Alcestis. I can
Yeah.
barely read English. Um, Trojan women, Andromache, among the Taurians. That's it. So I just realized two of these are all translated by Anne Carson. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like her translations. I think she does a good job. But Medea and the Bacchae are my favorite because they are feral and unhinged, like so feral. I greatly, greatly enjoy them. Hello, Shad.
Oh, there you go, Matt.
Novel. He began writing it while he held in a camp during the war. Yeah, I can't remember. I took this one theology class at university. I have my degree in religion and history, but theology was a separate department that I took this one and only class in. And they talked about someone with a very similar name to Herman Brock, but he wrote religious things during the war and was killed. But I can't remember now off the top of my head. But it'll come to me at 2 in the morning in 6 months. So it's fine.
The only person I can think of is oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The guy it's not Say Yes to Life, but oh my god, it's gonna bother me. Say Yes to Life. Viktor Frankl.
Mine is Dietrich Bonhoeffer. That's who I'm thinking of. Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Which now that I'm looking at these names, Herman Brock is not the same, but it was the it was the B, and that the first name sounded German, and that's what triggered that in my brain. So very unrelated, but apparently related in my brain. So that's fine.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm glad you do. So you've read Lila Sage now. So what are you currently reading then, if you're reading anything?
Authority by Jeff Vandermeer, which
Right.
Mitch, please spoil it for me. That means it gives me an excuse not to read it. I'm just kidding, but I'm struggling with focus on this bad
Yeah.
boy. It's taken way too much of my brain energy, and I'm just like, give me brainless fluff so my brain doesn't have to
Yeah.
work, please.
Mhm.
And then I'm slowly reading American Indian Myths and Legends. So we're doing like 10 stories a week.
Who's we?
Me, Anita, Sal on Alan's
Mhm.
Discord, and Urza on Alan's Discord.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. And I think I can't remember if Kim's reading it with us, but it started off with like Kim, K Fox, and I reading Russian fairy tales, and we slowly read that, and then we moved to Yiddish folk tales, and now we're doing American Indian myths and legends. So
Send me the name of the book because I'm curious about that because I know a bit about their folklore, but like not as much as I would like to by any means.
sure.
Um, I love good myth. Yeah.
Uh, similar to where I guess the Iliad and the Odyssey was like a highlight pillar of my reading last year.
Mhm.
just the folk fairy tale stuff is apparently an
Yeah.
ongoing pillar for this year, so
That's good. Honestly, it's good. I love that stuff. I miss it. Like, that's the thing I miss about school is that I studied those types of things, and I'm like, "I get to do this, like, for a degree," which is pretty great. I mean, what career it will yield, who knows? But, but it's so fun to read about all that kind of stuff, which makes sense for your love of, Catherine Arden too, for all of the Russian fairy tale stuff.
Yeah, reading the Russian fairy tales after devouring Winter Night multiple times, I'm like, "Oh, I see what she was doing there, where she was pulling from that, and
Mm,
how she, like, did stuff."
yeah.
So,
I wish I knew more about the Slavic fairy tales because my family is very Eastern European, if it's not like evidently clear by the translucent color of my skin. And I like it's just not something that was ever talked about for the most
mhm.
part because it became highly Catholic. But I read a book last year called Where the Dark Stand Still, and it's a YA novel, but I loved it. First of all, the cover is gorgeous. I absolutely love this cover. But
Oh.
she's in her traditional Polish dress, and it is a girl in this small Polish village which has become like very, it's not explicitly stated, but it's very clear that it's Catholic in the book. And she is cursed because she has magic, essentially. And you get all these like snippets of Polish culture and folklore and stuff. And I thought that the author, A.B. Poranek, did a really beautiful job with it.
Nice.
But I want more stuff like that, like
I so, um, I tried reading Deathless by Catherine M. Valenti.
that was perfect timing because Marianne literally just put that
Oh,
in the chat.
there
Like,
you
there
go.
you go.
I despise that book so much,
Why?
so much. Oh god. It's pretentious. Oh god, it's so pretentious.
Oh boy.
It was one of the books that, Kim and we buddy read, and we still call it a successful buddy read because we both hated the book, and we were both reading it thinking that the other person was enjoying it and wanted to continue it, but
Yeah.
no, like, we were in the same boat of like, "Oh, we'll just read it because the other person wants to read it," and neither of us communicated that we were hating this book. We hate read it both.
Oh geez.
So we read that, hated it. Then we tried The Witch and the Tsar by Olga. I can't pronounce her last name, but
Mhm.
we both DNF'd that pretty quickly because we learned our lesson.
There you go.
And at some point we'll get a Russian, Eastern European folktale retelling inspiration that will actually work.
Mhm. Fingers crossed. Evie hated it. There you go. I didn't take to Deathless. Yeah. And Master and Margarita. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Not everything is gonna work for everybody.
True.
But yeah, you might like though Where the Dark Stands Still. I could see you quite liking it actually.
Okay.
It's it's on that cusp of YA where it's like not quite YA, but they're like it's listed, I think, as a YA romantasy, but I don't like this is the inside cover description for the book. Liska knows magic is monstrous and that its practitioners are monsters. She has done everything possible to suppress her own magic to disastrous consequences. Desperate to be free of it, Liska frees her small village and delves into the dangerous demon-infested spirit wood to steal a mythical fern flower. If she plucks it, she can use its one wish to banish her powers. Everyone who has sought the fern flower has fallen prey to the unknown horrors. So when Liska is caught by the demon warden of the wood called Leshy, a bargain seems better than death. 1 year of servitude in exchange for the fern flower's wish. Whisked away to Leshy's crumbling manor, Liska soon makes an unsettling discovery. She is not the first person to strike this bargain, and all of her predecessors have mysteriously vanished. If Liska wants to survive the year and return home, she must unravel her host's spool of secrets and face ghosts, figurative and literal, of his past. Because something wakes in the wood, something deadly and without mercy, something that frightens even Leshy, and it cannot be defeated unless Liska embraces the monster she's always feared becoming. And it does a good job with the folklore, fantasy, fairy tale aspect of it.
It kind of reminds me of Uprooted by Naomi Novik, which is a Polish like inspiration, but also like Beauty and the Beast-esque.
Did you like that one?
So I read it. I thought I read it, ages and ages ago, but apparently it only came out in like 2013 or 2014. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I love when that happens. You're like, yeah, I read that like 20 years ago, and you're like, oh no, I didn't.
I swore that I read it before I moved to New England. I had been moved to New England since I've been here since 2013. But yeah, I read that book because it was my best friend's favorite book, and I'm pretty sure if I read it now, I would not like it. Because I tried Spinning Silver by the same author, which I've been told is the better book, and I'm like, nah.
It's just not for you. Not the author.
I don't like Naomi Novik's writing, apparently.
Not everything is going to work for everybody, like we said. Evie, if you haven't read it already, the book Rusalka by C.J. Cherry is a great book with Slavic folklore influence that you might like. There you go. Getting all the suggestions now.
Rusalka. Cherry. No, it's not it's really hard to find.
Oh, that's always the worst.
Boo.
That's always the worst. I hate that.
All right, well. And it's not on the ebook. Boo.
Well, thanks for coming on and hanging out with me. We've been doing this now for almost an hour and 40 minutes, which is longer than I anticipated being here. But alas, here we are. But yeah, I think I'm going to hop off for the night. But thank you for stopping in with me. I always like seeing your face and chatting with you.
Anytime.
Thanks for everyone in the chat popping in too, and hanging out with us for your Tuesday night. Always nice of you to stop by. Let me know what you're reading or what you're looking forward to for the year to come. Even though this isn't like a formal thing, you can always tell people where to find you on the YouTube.
Anywhere there's a Simon Jimenez discussion, any mention of The Spirit Comes Through Water, and I am summoned.
She appears.
So, in all seriousness, She Was Only Evie, I post maybe every 6 months with a tier ranking video. So if you like those types of things, there you go.
You're posting more than me. So there you go. Guys, like I've said, thank you for tuning in. If you are interested in my book, you can find information for that on my author page, which is laurablakeauthor.com, or Instagram, or all that fun stuff. But if you're not interested in it, that's fine too. But I would love if you checked it out and you read it. Either way, we will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.